In 2019, the first homestand came to life in Dallas. Packed with hometown fans. Heroic upsets.
The upset win in front of all the fans here in Dallas.
EMP's gonna be coming out and finds all 6 of them. The shatter comes down. Dallas Fuel, they take it home.
And iconic moments.
The battle for Texas, they win it.
Dallas burned blue as the Fuel enjoyed an undefeated weekend. We're back for more. In 2020, the battle comes home. The Overwatch League lands in 20 cities worldwide this season. And you know, on day one, we had to come home to Dallas.
Hello and welcome to the first Dallas homestand of 2020 here live in Arlington, Texas. My name is Brent. I'm joined by Sideshow. Unfamiliar settings if you've been following the league for the last 2 years. Now we're going to be bringing you commentary live during the matches.
And I could not think of a better homestand to start it off, honestly, because the matches here are going to be incredible. We've already seen in New York that this meta is shaping up excellently. Yep. All of the matches have got to be spectacular here.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've seen some phenomenal games already in New York, but now it's time to see what the Dallas crowd is made of as well. And as you've already mentioned, Josh, I'm starting to think as well that the Dallas crowd might be the better crowd out of the two, personally.
Okay.
I mean, what we saw last year when we saw the Dallas homestand, was the first one, it was phenomenal from them. The energy that they brought was absolutely unreal. But let's take a look at the schedule of what we've seen so far. You can already see 2 of the matches that have been played in New York, and we now have 2 more matches to be played here in Dallas. Of course, the Los Angeles Gladiators versus the Vancouver Titans to be coming up, and then later on, the Los Angeles Valiant versus the Dallas Fuel. The hometown crowd here will be happy to see that one.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a rematch as well from last time that they had the homestand. But it's this first game that I'm so excited for. The Gladiators going up against the Vancouver Titans, 2 really strong teams at the moment. And Vancouver, they've made a lot of changes. Their last year performance, they made it all the way to the finals. They looked incredibly strong, but they've made a bunch of changes.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the Vancouver Titans are going to be adjusting moving forward into this game. They've made one change, and that is the introduction of Fisher. They've removed a couple of players as well, of course. Gladiators also very interesting as far as these teams go. But as it stands, there's a lot of history to the Vancouver Titans. The highest of highs, but also the lowest of lows.
Oh, it's just been phenomenal. Nobody was really expecting an expansion team to be able to make it all the way to the grand finals. But the Vancouver Titans have been leading this entire season long. They've been at the head of the pack. They've been defining how the game is supposed to be played in a number of ways, adapting to certain metas. Their teamwork is better than any team we've ever seen before in Overwatch. I really believe that. And I think it's going to carry them through to an insane performance here again today.
다른 팀들이 멘탈을 좀 강화했으면 좋겠어요. 저희한테 다 4대0으로 질 거니까.
Gets a duck back around the corner. Shatter time. Oh, Gatwin gets blocked though, and he is down.
This is it. The Vancouver Titans must finish this map to stay in the series. The shock, it's 3 already, and they're looking for their last. To fall here for the Titans, it's a long way from their expectations.
Well, there you have it. I mean, the Vancouver Titans, a team that last year they came absolutely smashing out of the gates, demolished the opposition, but unfortunately could not capture what they needed to in the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, they were incredible all throughout the year, and so just the fact that they lost in the finals in such demoralizing fashion caused them to make a couple of changes in the offseason, but they're still an incredible team. One of the players that they brought in was Jae-Hong as well, so he's going to come into this squad as like a bit of a player mentor coach for Twilight, and they've already got this kind of bond because Twilight is part of this wave of Flexipors that came up idolizing Ryu Jae-Hong, an absolute legend of the scene who, yes, he had a bit of a tough time on the Seoul Dynasty last year, but that team made playoffs. He is still a legend of Overwatch, and everybody respects him. He's he's still going to be helpful for this team in helping to develop Twilight and make sure that he plays his absolute best.
It's so evident as well as we walk around as well. I've seen Jae-Hong walking around the corridors and whatnot. He does have that sort of aura around him, that respect that a lot of people will give him because he was there when it really mattered at the start of the Overwatch as a scene when it was coming up. He was there with his gameplay and he made waves in the scene. But unbelievable scenes as of yet.
Yeah. And the Gladiators, they really have made a bunch of different changes. They don't look that much like the team that we saw last year. They've still got Shaz and Big Goose, that back line, but the tank line has changed. We've got fan favorites of OG and Space up there as well, and the DPS line is all shaken up. But the real one that you want to focus in on is Birdring, I think, because that guy, all of the hopes of the Los Angeles Gladiators rest on his shoulders. He's had an up and down kind of career in the Overwatch League, was known as a fantastic player beforehand, but he's been very inconsistent. A lot rests on his shoulders for the Gladiators.
And it's a bit of a risky pickup, if I do say so myself, because he hasn't had the greatest performance last year, as you mentioned, Josh, but this is an opportunity for him to get possibly back into his old form. As you can see from these highlights, the guy is a phenomenal talent.
Oh,
the mechanical skill is off the charts. And this is maybe a good new team environment. This is what he needs to really start to step up now, get back into the sort of position that he was known for previously, just absolutely dominating the opposition. You never wanted to play against Birdring previously when he was playing at his highest peaks.
And with the heroes that we've seen currently floating around, the McCree, the Reaper, the Widowmaker in the games that have been happening in New York, those are all ones where Birdring can have a huge impact. So that set us up for an incredibly exciting match here between Vancouver and the Gladiators.
Wow, I think it's enough of us talking for the time being. I want to get this game started, Josh. And it is time indeed. Please welcome to the stage the Los Angeles Gladiators. Team that's made, as we've already mentioned, a lot of additions, a lot of changes coming up, and a team that's always just scraped almost so close to a very far-reaching position in the playoffs every single year. They've always come very close, and maybe this is the year with the changes they've made that they might make it happen.
And they've acquired Space from their rival team, the Los Angeles Valiant, as their key player, their franchise player moving forwards. He's going to have a lot of the solidity in that tank line to be able to prop up whoever he's playing alongside. And that happens to be LH Cloudy today. He's part of that starting lineup that walked out. But Space is such a phenomenal player. He's there in the off-tank position, can play every single hero required of him. We're expecting him here to be playing a lot of the Diva because we've seen Rhine Diva be played by a lot of these teams. But the Los Angeles Gladiators really could come out and show us anything.
And it's going to be interesting as well. Space as well, if you didn't know, has his own clothing line, you know, with Sinatra.
It's true. You can tell just by looking at him, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's a very stylish guy. He's always dripping in the swag, I think is what the kids are saying. But the Los Angeles Gladiators, as you see here, and they're going to be facing off against the one and only Vancouver Titans. A lot of familiar faces that you might be seeing here on the Vancouver Titans, but one face that's coming in that's quite new is Fisher, that we mentioned a little bit earlier. This guy has been on 4 Overwatch League teams so far.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. His average span on an Overwatch League team is only about 6 or 7 months. Now that just about gets you to the end of the season maybe, so he's a big question mark for the Titans. But what we do know about him is he's incredibly good. His mechanics, his game sense, his hero pool, he can just play everything to an unbelievable level. Also rocking a fresh cut.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
militaristic.
Fisher, when he synergizes well with his team, is going to absolutely destroy. The question marks are never about how well this guy can play.
Absolutely. I mean, he was known for his Winston performance. Plays like this, where you see him just the mastery and control of his ultimate, the Primal Rage. This is what really put him on the map for a lot of people, despite the fact that he was doing this as well prior to the Overwatch League in previous leagues. But look at the mechanics of the guy. There's no doubt in my mind that he is a star talent. The doubt lies in whether or not he's going to be able to keep it together and stay on this roster for a long enough time. without it particularly imploding.
Yes.
Is that fair to say? Because he has been on a lot of teams.
That's true, but that's a long-term thing, right? Fissure, in the short term, is fantastic. They call him the Revenant because he just comes back and smacks around his former teams. He used to play for the Gladiators, and his record against his former teams is fantastic.
Yep.
He's only ever lost once playing against a former team. So this right here is another opportunity for Fissure to rack up heads and keep claiming those trophies from the teams that he used to play for.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see if he's going to be able to step up to his previous form and really lead the Titans to a victory here.
Yeah, I mean, these teams are expected to play slightly different styles. One very brawly in the Gladiators, one a little more flanky in the Titans. That's what we've heard from teams. It's not what we've been able to see on the stage just yet because we haven't actually had an opportunity to look at the matches.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at the map set here. You can see the first map in our rotation is Nepal, followed up by the fan favorite of Kings Row. We're seeing a lot of that today, and then Hanamura. You know, Josh, I had a part in this map pool being case.
Did you really?
To fruition. My advice, led us to Kings Row being played in the opening week.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've done a fantastic job then, because Kings Row is one of the most well-loved maps by fans and players alike, and Nepal is no different. Its various different levels allow for different variety of hero comps to be played, but a lot of Mei. Mei has always been good on Nepal, and we've seen in the New York games earlier today that that is still a fan favorite pick. It's just coming up all over the place. It looks like Haxel and Jaru already opting to run that hero.
An absolute staple, and now we'll see as the players begin to roll out what the Los Angeles Gladiators are made of as they go up against the Vancouver Titans. Already LH Cloudy going to be charging into the fight, mitigating a lot of the damage of his shield, just trying to build up the Earth Shatter for now. Both teams looking for opportunities. Big Bio Nade comes out there from Twilight. Jaro forced to use the Ice Block to try and purge it off. A great boot. Jaro manages to save himself there. Not necessarily needing to use the Ice Wall in the process, but so far no casualties on either side, just rotations. Both teams trying to gain positioning.
Yeah, and with the main Reaper coming out from the Vancouver Titans, they want to go and fight. But for the Gladiators, they want to wait for Birdring to get picked. Nice aggressive play by Big Goose, though, to take out Twilight. That should be an opening.
Yeah, and his plays like that are going to absolutely crack open this point for them. However, Stitch is going to answer back with a kill of his own onto Cloudy. We'll see now if the Vancouver Titans can capitalize off the back of it. You can see now the aggressive maneuvers being made. Slime gets the kill onto Birdring as well. Shaz keeping his team up from afar. Good Biogram to the back line, but the Earth Shatter by Fissure connects onto two of them. Allows Stitch to really clean up the members of the LA Gladiators. And that is going to be the point held on for the Titans.
And I like this switch from Birdring, immediately going over to the McCree, because the Vancouver Titans, with their main Reaper composition, were able to dominate the point. They got on there, they made sure that the Gladiators couldn't come and fight them in a 6-on-6, and Birdring was denied any opportunity to get picks. Janu all over him.
But you can see the Ice Wall now is going to be segregating off the LA Gladiators. Huge Bionade from Twilight again, and Fissure cleans up with 3 kills. The Blizzard, just the icing on the cake, really, isn't it? And that is going to be another one team fight there for the Vancouver Titans.
Yeah, they have double support ults going to this next fight, and in these small choke points, Fissure is going to be able to do so much damage. He's already up to 60% of another Earth Shatter. This guy is so phenomenally talented. If the Vancouver Titans can put him in position to succeed, he will deliver.
We'll see now. Twilight has the Nano Boost available to him. We'll see who does the recipient. Ends up using it now onto Stitch. Stitch unloading the damage. Cloudy's ultimate doesn't get any value, and look at that. The Death Blossom absolutely shreds the Gladiators. 80% and counting. The Titans are still in control.
They were forced to use their sound barrier in the middle of that, so the Los Angeles Gladiators have a little bit of an opportunity, but with only 10 seconds left to touch the point, the Vancouver Titans know exactly where they're coming from, and the Gladiators are going to be hard-pressed to be able to get in here. Only 5 seconds to touch.
Space coming up on the flank here. He's going to try and touch the point in the meantime. Fissure going aggressive. The Earth Shatter lays down, and nobody can touch the point. It's going to be 1-0 so far on this round in Nepal. For the Vancouver Titans, a dominant showing.
It really was. I think the Birdring swap onto the Widowmaker at the beginning may have been a bit of a strategical misplay, and they might adjust accordingly, because that he didn't really get much value from that, and it just gave Vancouver Titans the point a little too early on.
See the players just discussing for the time being. getting to know each other, if they will. I mean, they already know each other. They've been playing together for quite some time now.
Playing together and against each other as well. These players go back a long way. Even though the Vancouver Titans feel maybe a little bit like rookies because last year was their first year in the league, they've been playing for a long, long time together, since 2016, some of them. Whereas it really is the Gladiators that have a bit more rookie talent on this squad. With Jaru coming in, playing that Mei, he's a brand new pickup.
Yep. What do you think the Gladiators' issues are right now, just based off of that first round?
I really do think that they just got locked out very early on with that Widowmaker pick and weren't able to take the 6v6 fight. And then the Vancouver Titans were great at being able to push their aggression and be able to push their advantage home. They rotated their ults incredibly well and just locked them out at that first choke point. Nepal is so brutal to play against when you have a disadvantage because all of the choke points are just perfectly sized for the old big rectangle man of Reinhardt.
Yeah. I'm seeing a couple of preemptive picks so far from the Gladiators. Vancouver Titans, we'll see if they also want to be running with very interesting damage dealer, Symmetra, possibly on the field. We've seen a lot of it in New York.
That's true. A lot of the time, though, teams will just use it to get a bit more advantage and speed out of the gates, but Symmetra is also pretty powerful on a bunch of
they're going to
these
switch, yeah. So I'm going to be seeing it for now. It's going to be the Mei Reaper. Seen as a bit of a classic, but Shaz going to be sticking onto the Moira here. A bit of a risky pick, especially when Janu's on the Diva. Could be getting his orbs eaten up, but we'll see now the teams are going to start to clash onto the point. Already, Haxel being pressured a lot, has to use the Ice Wall defensively, pushes himself back. The aggression by Gladiators straight into them. Charges, though, going to be almost immediately, and Fish is going to be brought down. Great opening pick there for the Gladiators. See if they can capitalize any more off of it. The Titans forced to just poke and prod from afar.
I mean, that's a six-man Bionade, but there's nobody going to be able to follow up. The kill onto Fisher just allowed the Gladiators to play the point, and if they can maybe manage to get another pick here, they'll start accruing capture time and be in a great position.
And this is the position that the Gladiators wanted to be in because they have that coalescence. And now they're going to unleash it, keeping the team up, absolutely chunking down the Vancouver Titans. Another counter charge comes out from the Reinhardt players, and a great slip down from Twilight is going to take Shaz out of the flight temporarily. Jaru falls though, and this is a huge opening now for the Titans, and they're going to clean up off the back of it.
Oh, that was such a good sleep dart by Twilight to cancel Shaz's coalescence, but also to deny any healing that he was able to do. The Los Angeles Gladiators were essentially down their main support. He might as well have killed him because while Shaz was lying on the floor, the rest of the Gladiators fell. Insane play from Twilight. That's what we expect from this guy. He's such a good Ana player.
Yep, his Ana, phenomenal across the board. You can see in the previous tweets that we listed as well, you know, he looks up to Ryu Jae-hong as his idol.
Another incredible Ana player.
Absolutely. But now we'll see if the Titans are able to hold this. They have a ton of ultimates to work with, but so do the Gladiators. See what they choose to use. The Death Blossom used preemptively. Soundbar used by the Gladiators as well. Vancouver Titans with a slightly better one as we see the Blizzards coming out. Fisher gets the charge onto Cloudy, and those two kills should set them up for the win here. The Titans are easily going to be able to clean this one up. Space just wants to try and not stagger there. He's going to jump off the map just so he can respawn with the rest of his team.
Yeah, the Blizzard coming out from Haxel was the big game changer there. Jaru was only at about 90%, and as they all came in, they have to kite the Blizzard, otherwise they get trapped in it, and the Vancouver Titans are able to take advantage. But now that advantage flips over to Jaru. He has the Blizzard available, so if they can get to the point and force the fight to happen down there, this Blizzard should be able to get big value.
Well, all eyes on Janu right now to see if he can eat up this Blizzard from Jaru. It's going to be one of the win conditions. Cloudy looking for an opportunity, searching for the Earth Shatter, comes down, lays it down. Stitch cancelled out of the Death Blossom, and that's exactly what the Gladiators wanted. The Blizzard gets maximum value. Shaz using the Coalescence just to win and close out the fight. The Gladiators are going to be able to recap this point. What I believe is the second time in the series, I should say.
Yeah, the first retake though, and that's crucial. Because the Gladiators, it's all well and good winning the first fight when everything is equal, but being able to retake against an opponent that's as strong as the Titans bodes very well for them moving forwards in this map. Now, a slightly easier part. They have to hold on.
Fisher caught out of position though. The wall is being destroyed. You can see another defensive ice wall being used. The self-destruct's going to be traded up and over, but it's the Gladiators who have come out on top. Cloudy, along with Birdring, pounding in the damage of the Hellfire shotguns. And immediately Titans, they have to disengage from this. It's a lost fight.
That's the value of Space's Diva Bomb there. It just threads its way past the ice wall and forces the Vancouver Titans to either commit or retreat. Their team split, and they ended up dying as a result.
This is something that Space was famous for on the Valiant, I should say, was getting Space and maximum value out of his self-destructs. Nice little Bionade there from Twilight. It's going to force Birdring back. Has a Death Blossom to work with as well. Now we'll see, we're getting into final fight territory so far. Soundbire connects onto everyone but Birdring. Earthshatter laid down, doesn't connect. Flip the point though, and the Vancouver Titans get a better Soundbire. Now we see the Blizzard being used by the Vancouver Titans. Doesn't quite catch as many players as they were hoping for. Stitch just trying to find a pick or two. Twilight with another huge Bionade in the backline, but it's Jaru comes up on top with the opening pick, and that has absolutely cracked this one open for them. Stitch tries desperately to try and get something out of the Death Blossom, but the Gladiators are going to be coming out on top in this team fight.
It was an unbelievable Death Blossom coming out from Birdring, actually, that just shredded everyone. He found the perfect flank angle when it all looked lost, and the Vancouver Titans crumble when it looked like they were going to wrap up this round of this map so easily. Now their backs are the ones up against the wall with no ults available.
Well, here we have it. Fisher have to switching over to the Wrecking Ball just to touch the point. The Blizzard is going to be zoning them all out. Everyone getting frozen on the point. They can't even touch the point for that matter. Jaru finds the kill onto Stitch. That might be exactly what they need to seal this round. Put it in their back pocket and keep this map going. Fisher falls as well. A last-ditch Earth Shatter by Cloudy will do enough. It mitigates it, and that's going to clean up the majority of the Vancouver Titans, making it 1-1 in this opening map.
And we have definitely got a game now. The Vancouver Titans look dominant on that first round, but not so on the second. A really clutch Death Blossom coming out from Birdring, and Space, he looks like he's sweating, but it's all right. Things are even. You don't have to look so pained.
Yeah, I mean, he might be sweating. That might just be the clothes he's wearing, you know.
Birdring looks on fire, though. He looks absolutely focused, and that's what you need from this guy. Yeah. You need motivation, determination. It's all a mental game for this person. I'm absolutely confident that that's the case. And with a slightly new setup in the Los Angeles Gladiators, especially that honeymoon period at the beginning of the league, when the team feels fresh and your attitude is new, I'm expecting big things from this dude.
It's often what you need, and Birdring certainly needed it, a change of scenery. Seems like he has that in the Gladiators, and now they are already out onto the point. Again, running the May Reaper, but this time Space is going to be flexing over to the Orisa. Double shields, a lot of damage mitigation, a very powerful combo if you manage to take the point early. Shaz's Immortality Field is going to get taken down, but Cloudy with a crucial pin onto Haxel. And that is going to do it realistically for them. LA's Cloudy, look at him just swinging ahead with his hammer. He's already built up the Earth Shadow for the next fight. And now this is a dangerous situation for the Titans, because with the composition that the Gladiators are running, you don't want to let them get up a nice stronghold onto the point.
No, it's so difficult to break Ryan Orisa, and that's not so much because of the shield coming out from the Orisa, but it's more what the Orisa can do in the middle of fights. Be able to put down that shield to block the freeze, to isolate people. And
oh,
it's aggressive!
Cloudy! My word! Lays down the Earth Shatter. And oh my word, you don't need to say anything more than that. That seals the deal. The team fight's over. The Titans realize that, and they get sent straight to the back of the respawn queue.
And the Vancouver Titans have got to scout a little bit more than that. That was way too easy for Cloudy to pull off. He was just stood there waiting the entire time. They knew the Titans were coming from there. And the Titans, they don't have a comp that wants to brawl that much. If they brawl, the Gladiators have got the better composition.
We'll see now if Twilight can get value out of his Coalescence. Ends up using it now. Along with the amplification matrix here, the Earth Shatter comes out from Fisher, doesn't connect. Stitch, though, is getting value from his Death Blossom. That's going to force out the Sound Barrier and the Immortality Field now from the Gladiators. Still a winnable fight for either side. Now Stitch seeing if he can get the opening kill here onto Jaro, just laying in the damage into the side, but the Gladiators are the ones who are coming out on top. Ultimate's being used just to try and really secure this team fight. End up using the drums from Space and the Blizzard, but they are still in control of the point, and that's the most important fact.
It really is, because this Gladiators team, where they're running the Reinhardt and the Orisa, it's so good at staying in control. You want to invest those ultimates just to stay in control. Vancouver Titans, though, they've got this Blizzard available. So if they can bait the Gladiators into an enclosed area, the Blizzard can get max value. That's their win condition. They need to win this fight.
We'll see if they can do it. Taking the high ground positioning right now. Cloudy knocking a player or two off the high ground. Birdring just trying to set himself up for a position, maybe a teleport into the back line. And here we have it, orchestrated straight into the back. The Death Blossom, he sets it up. Cloudy though, manages to secure the 3K, and that is gonna do it. At least in the textbook, that many players fall for the Vancouver Titans. The Gladiators have almost all but secured it, and that is gonna mean that map 1 is gonna be going to the Los Angeles Gladiators.
Huge performance from the Gladiators, honestly. We really saw the strength of that team when it came to the third round. When they were able to flex space onto the Orisa, that's not something that I think we'll see a lot of off-tanks doing. Teams will often rotate in 2 of their main tanks to play that kind of comp. But here, the Gladiators just know that their team is able to do it.
Well, a phenomenal first map, but we've got more Overwatch coming up after the break. Well, welcome back everybody to the series, Los Angeles Gladiators versus the Vancouver Titans, and it has been a good one so far. It went the distance on the ball, and now we're going to be heading up to a fan favorite map, of course. We've got Kings Row coming up next.
Yep.
And it'll be interesting to see what teams cook up on that map in particular. Gladiators have one of the most famous plays of all time on that map.
That's very true.
So they've always been known for that, in ingenuity
Yeah.
when it comes to their sort of strategies that they like to employ, especially, largely parts of their coaching staff as well, Deep. So it'll be interesting to see if they have anything to really try and cement this lead that they have so far against the Vancouver Titans.
It's also a map where you can play a lot of brawly compositions, the Reinhardt, the Orisa, just that style where you want to rush into the other team and play very fast tempo. That is going to favor the Gladiators, I think. So, Titans on the back rope. Who saw this coming? Not Fisher. He is out here ready to defeat a former team, and this is not the start that he would have wanted.
And I do wonder if this is where the mentality starts to crumble a little bit. I mean, I don't like to comment.
One map in.
I don't like to comment on players' mentalities too often because we don't know. We're not listening, right?
No.
We don't know for sure. But Fisher does have a bit of a reputation, for being a bit of an alpha male, if I do say so myself.
That's true.
So, when the going gets rough, it might just power him on further, as we've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. Shaz and Big Goose, though, are just the cornerstone of this Los Angeles Gladiators team. they're able to make everything work. They lead the league in terms of overall healing, and they really focus on that, being able to stay safe, being able to empower their team. They're the quintessential support duo, and this is the backbone of the Gladiators that have been kept throughout 2018, throughout 2019, and are back for 2020. Big Goose himself, I'm such a fan of.
Yes.
He's so phenomenally talented on the Lucio. Look at this. He runs circles around people so often.
It's not just his talent, though. His work ethic is second to none, it feels like, in the league itself. The guy was learning Korean to help himself better fit into teams in the future. Not many players will take that next step, that initiative, to try and learn a second language so they bond with their future teammates or any teammates that, you know, might be coming in, don't speak English that well. But Big Goose does. And as you can see here, we have Kings Row coming up now. The fan favorite, my personal favorite map. I don't know about you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
No, it is. It's a great map, and you see so much diversity on this map in terms of strategy, because the high ground on the first point is so interesting, and then it has a very unique dynamic with those tight streets that favor the brawly compositions. I think this is going to be a great start to this series. First two maps are going to promise great things from both the Titans and the Gladiators.
Absolutely. We'll see if the Titans can turn it around. 1-0 down. They're more than capable. They've been in this situation before. It's going to be the Gladiators on the first attack, going to be using the Symmetra teleport just to get up to the high ground. Switching immediately. See Birdring now moving over to the McCree against Stitch and Haxel, going to be running the May Reaper.
Gives them an opportunity, though, to avoid the May wall that often happens on that first choke point, so very smart.
Okay, now we're going to see an aggressive May wall here. Jaro ends up getting slept here, but Fisher stunned up. That was a counter charge comes out, and Cloudy, when he was down on the deck, he got brought down almost immediately. Janu gets teammate though, and this is an opening now. Remember, the Gladiators, they have a superior spawn advantage. The respawn doors are just a little bit away. If they get these players back, they're going to get there before the Vancouver Titans.
And this is why we see so many people playing McCree recently. You can flash over the shield, you can fan the hammer, you can deal with these tanks very effectively compared to the Reaper. And Birdring has done a lot so far.
There's never sleep as well from Twilight. He's been on point all day long, but he is going to go down to space using those micro missiles. Now we can see Birdring as well, doing what he does best. Absolutely popping off with McCree. Hax is going to try and clutch this one up, though. Ends up using the Blizzard. It's not too sure about this one. Tries to clutch it for his team. He gets one kill. Slime with a follow-up, but Birdring shuts it down immediately. The Deadeye is going to collect two. The Fisher looks like he wants to try and recontest, or maybe just poke him with the Fire Strike, and it will be the initial point going to the Gladiators.
Birdring is so talented. This was the risk that these guys took picking him up. They know that he's so good. And as long as you can keep him in that right state of mind, he's going to deliver you plays like this. He cracked that first point open.
Well, here we have it. They're pushing the cart forwards, but it looks like an aggressive maneuver from the Titans. Great Ice Wall from Jaru. Shuts off a lot of the Titans. The Nano Boost is used here onto Stitch, but he's not getting too much value out of it. Everyone just kind of kiting him around. The Gladiators using the speed boost from Big Goose to try and mitigate a lot of that damage, just run backwards, and now the go button is pressed. You can see the Nano Boost being used here onto Cloudy. He has the Earth Shatter as well, but frozen up for the time being, and now the Blizzard just on top of it. A lot of players falling now for the Titans. They have to back off. Gladiators, however, invested a lot of ultimates to try and win that.
But I think that's great. They broke through a choke point that can so often snarl up aggressive teams. Is that Twilight just waiting around, sleeping people as he tries to escape? This man's got no respect. Birdring deals with Stitch.
Yep.
Birdring's been on fire on this McCree. If he can keep this up all season long, we are in for a resurgence. It might be a little too early.
Might be a little bit too early, but I like it a little bit too early. You know, I want to see the old ring coming out. Birdring was phenomenal when he was at his peaks, and if he can play like this for the Gladiators, I see no reason why this team cannot make it into the playoffs and further a little bit later down the line. Maybe a little bit too early to say in the opening week, but here we have it. Shaz, cheeky little sleep dart sets up the Earth Shatter, and they all come falling down. Birdring, though, has to be kept alive here with the Deadeye. Going to be able to get the teammate, but that's going to force the self-destruct now out from Janu. Going to try and remech as well, but in the meanwhile, while the teammate was happening, Jaru was happily just cleaning up the rest of the Vancouver Titans. They didn't have that tank line to try and separate them. The Gladiators are absolutely steamrolling this one. They have 3 minutes. They're about to cap the second point.
That was such a lovely, well-coordinated play from Shaz and Cloudy. They demolished the Titans before they could even come and contest, and they've just kept this momentum rolling all the way through. 4.5 minutes are left for them to capture point C.
Slime going to be making the switch over to Brigitte now. And we'll see who's the recipient of the Nano Boost. It's going to be popping it onto Cloudy. Once again, has another Earth Shatter to use. He unleashes it, but it connects onto no one. Great block by Slime. Managed to intertwine his shield right at the key moment. And that means it's still a winnable fight now for the Vancouver Titans. Twilight cleans up Jaro over Bionade, and they've shut down this push from the Gladiators at the critical time.
Very, very clutch, because the Gladiators and LH Cloudy at the forefront looked like they had an opportunity in that fight. They have reset the momentum, stopped it dead, and now they've got a position to actually defend from. No ultimates really on the board, but they're ahead in that Blizzard game, and Blizzard is such a pivotal ult at breaking and holding choke points.
We'll see if Space decides to create some space with his own self-destruct. Just waiting for the time being. We see the Deadeye being used by Stitch. He gets a kill onto Big Goose. That might just put an end to the fight, but Space ends up using his self-destruct to create the, oh my word! 2 kills, Stitch desperate for the elimination, doesn't find it and gets punished for it instead. And now the Gladiators, they have an opening.
That kind of play you feel should really never result in 2 kills, but Space can just come up with the goods when you don't expect it. This is why he's ranked as the best Western off-tank. He is such a powerful figure and finds the openings.
Axel has his Blizzard. We see the self-destruct being used by Jano just to try and force the positioning. Ice Wall going to be used to try and push apart the Gladiators, and now we see the High Noon as well from Birdring. Doesn't find any picks, but now the Blizzard is going to be free on the point. Fisher kills LH Cloudy, bringing him down. It's going to mean another 1 fight here for the Titans, and when it gets to this point of King's Row, it becomes especially difficult to try and crack into that final checkpoint.
It really does. You're looking for the Gladiators to build up an opportunity in terms of their ultimates, and that may be right now. I mean, they're coming up against a High Noon, a Deadeye, and also the Rally. Those are 2 ultimates that it's difficult to get maximum value out of. They're not fight winners, unless Stitch manages to pull something ridiculous out. But Jaru's Blizzard can absolutely be a fight winner. Gladiators are going to speed in here aggressively, see if they can find value out of that. Big Goose may be forced to drop the Shadow.
See what I can do. Stitch just holding a very long angle. The sound barrier used aggressively. Instant High Noon collects the kill onto Birdring. That's what he was looking for. And that one opening, but Janu with a clutch eat as well as the Jaru's Blizzard. It's exactly what the Titans needed as well. And this fight has gone disastrously for the Gladiators. Cloudy attempts to clutch it up, but it's too little too late. As it will be the Titans once again defending this final checkpoint.
And I just feel that was the wrong ordering of their abilities there. Big Goose started with the sound barrier, rather than trying to take a fight first. If they had turned up the tempo and gone aggressive with his speed boost, then Jaru would have been less predictable in when he was using his Blizzard. As it was so telegraphed to Janu, and the eat comes through.
Well, Fisher's holding onto this Earth Shatter. Got a couple of opportunities to use it. The war chest of ultimates is huge. Sends down the Earth Shatter, connects it onto Space. The self-destruct collects Big Goose and the D-Mech. Beautiful orchestrated plays there from the Titans. And now only a minute on the clock here for the Gladiators to try and make something work. The good news, they managed to get at least 2 ultimates out of the Titans, but those 2 ultimates have just been replaced by 2 more.
You can see how opportunistic Fisher is as well. He spotted at LH Cloudy's shield just being slightly angled, and 3 players in his sights, just instantly goes for it, instantly hits the Earth Shatter. And now Vancouver Titans have still got a lot of ults to play with. That Blizzard is online, the Nano Boost is available to pop onto Fisher as well.
Space eats the Blizzard, that could be the game-winning moment here for Gladiators. Stitch playing the long angles once again. Nobody can really pressure him from here. He's able to get off a good High Noon as well.
You see Space baiting, he flew up top and then he flicked his defense matrix around. Bomb goes into the back as well, and that's when Haxel strikes.
Blizzard lays down. Stitch manages to collect a 1 kill there onto Birdring. The Nano's going to be used as well onto Janu. Nice little sleep onto Cloudy. Pin as well. Great little set play. The Gladiators have lost so many players now. They're going to try and clutch it up here. Jaro uses the Blizzard. Doesn't really lock down anyone. Janu finds the kill onto Big Goose. The Gladiators desperately throwing bodies onto the point, trying to get that final capture, but the Titans stop them in their tracks.
A good defense in the end for the Vancouver Titans. With 4.5 minutes to capture point C, the Los Angeles Gladiators were not quite able to do it. And I feel like, okay, Bren, we haven't had an opportunity to look extensively at the meta, but Slime should have the advantage there with the Lucio.
Well, this has been the Dallas homestand series presented by Frontier. And my word, what an insane game it's been so far. I am very much looking forward to the rest of it after this break.
The time has finally come.
We're back, Overwatch fans, and we are live from Dallas, Texas.
We are live in New York City.
Come on, this is carnage!
It's not stopping! It's not stopping!
Now we have a game.
Ooh, get rocked. Maybe the Batman can do it. Oh, what is this?
Are you ready?
Well, we're going to be straight back into the action here as the Vancouver Titans have already started to make their move. They're going to be going on to the attacking side. They win the opening team fight.
Yeah, it was filthy. We couldn't show it on the screen. It was too grotesque. Too grotesque. The Vancouver Titans just slaughtered them, and they've managed to take point A immediately within 1 minute. It's making great use of this classic McCree May composition.
Yep, and this is what happens when you make Fisher angry. He just comes at you hard and fast. This guy, he's not a guy you want to upset. He's a bit of a savage as well.
Really interesting that they're running a variety of supports here, though. The Zen Brigitte is something that I haven't heard any team talk about as a classic support composition paired with these kind of other heroes. But it provides a huge amount of pressure onto Cloudy.
We'll see the Earth Shadow and the South Destruct laid down. Space manages to get 2 kills. That could set Gladiators up to try and hold this one now. The Blizzard used against the corner. Going to be freezing up a couple of them, but now you see the Transcendence by Twilight. Jaru attempts to try and cut the line of sight with his Ice Wall, but not quite quick enough. Despite that, Slime is going to end up falling. Now we see again the South Destruct used by Janu. Defensively going to remake as well. The Titans are not showing any signs of slowing down. Fisher seals this deal with the Earth Shadow at the end.
Had to use both support ults, but that's perfectly fine as far as I'm concerned, because Slime should basically be used on cooldown. A Brigitte rally is just a benefit in these team fights. It's not a huge ultimate. They do have to watch out for Cloudy's Earth Shatter, but take a look at some of the DPS swaps that have happened here for the Gladiators. Jaru wants to brawl with the Doomfist because he can get into the backlines onto Twilight and Slime and eat them up like little snacks.
They're so susceptible now to the Doomfist pick, and we'll see what Jaru can do. He's poking, he's prodding, he's searching for an opening. The high ground's going to be contested by the Diva players for the time being. Just shy, and now we see the punch comes in, counter bash. Stitch comes up now with the Deadeye, finds the kill of Jaro while he was down on the floor, stunned up. And that's a great opening for them. Pickers tries to even it out as well by Twilight going down. Now we see Space using the Self-Destruct again. 2 kills for the Gladiators. And it looks like off the back of that, they are definitely going to be able to defend here, just shy of the second checkpoint.
Space has 6 self-destruct kills so far this map. That is bananas. You should not be expecting those kind of numbers, even from some top-level star off-tank like Space. He is being able to find openings all over the place. And Jaru is committed to this Doomfist now. So Stitch on the McCree is really going to be looking to deal with him repeatedly.
Yep. I don't know if I'm too keen on it, but we'll see. Space now Opts to take it off, angle into the back lines. They want to try and force out the Transcendence, and they do exactly that. Twilight has to use it to keep his team up. The Gladiators are coming up slightly on top. The Blizzard gets no value. Fish ends up using the Earth Shatter, but who can follow up on it? Absolutely no one. Shaz with the Coalescence, keeping his team back up and alive. The Fisher staggered at the tail end of that fight as well. Another lost team fight now for the Vancouver Titans.
And you're just seeing that when the Gladiators turn up the tempo with a speed boost, with the heals coming out from the Moira, the Vancouver Titans can't do anything. They have damage, sure, they have utility, but they don't have the heals and they don't have the speed with their previous support lineup of the Zen Brigitte. So Twilight makes the swap over onto Moira, and Haxal has gone onto the Doomfist.
This is wild.
It really is. The Titans have got a much deeper playbook than anybody else we've seen so far. Will it work, though?
That's the question on everyone's mind. Haxal's going to be taking a couple of odd angles, just trying to see if he can find an opening. Nice counter pin, the charge, Cloudy goes down, but Burnering answers back in the backline with the Death Blossom. He's going to find Stitch for the time being. You see the Meteor Strike being used. Haxal manages to collect one of the supports, not too bad. Uppercut, I should say. Followed up, Haxal is really setting his team up now. And the soundbite by Big Goose just a little bit too late here. The Titans are going to be able to clean up the rest of this team fight.
Yeah, Big Goose used that sound barrier when there was only 3 alive, attempting to clutch, make time for the other players to be able to come back. But I think he would want that back. The Vancouver Titans now have a little bit of an opportunity to keep rolling forwards. The all advantage isn't in their favor, but if they can rock off this Coalescence and maybe get a pick with Haxal, momentum can certainly keep going at point C.
Yeah, we'll see Jano. You can see the reactions of him. He's just trying to peel for absolutely everyone on his team. And it is control of this high ground is what they're battling over. Space Forced, he was demeced. Had to use his Self-Destruct early, but the fight kicks off the Meteor Strike. Fisher with 2 kills. Unbelievable form so far. Seismic Slam for Haxal, trying to get to safety. Comes out to 100 HP. The Adaptive Shields are going to be helping him stay alive, and the Titans are absolutely rolling this one to the finish line.
Yeah, Gladiators were not able to hold on there, and they've made a swap. Chaz going over to the Ana. He's going to look to build up a nano within the last couple of moments. He's got the additional healing as well, a bit of safety from Spawn, but all eyes are on Cloudy. He needs this Earth Shatter to land, needs to be able to dodge someone.
Oh my word! The flank players might have just set this one up now. Stitch follows up with another kill onto Cloudy here, and no one is able to touch the points. Titans are going to be able to capture it, and that's going to be map 2 going their way. And Josh, I think we got a series in our hands.
We certainly do. Blink and you'll miss it. The Vancouver Titans slam home that offense. Unbelievable scenes. They were pulling out heroes that we haven't seen in this meta. Heroes that don't seem like they would fit. And yet they come out with the magic. That guy is so skilled as well.
Fisher, just absolutely astounding gameplay so far, but it's not over just yet. We've got still the rest of the series to go. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
The time has finally come.
We're back, Overwatch fans, and we are live from Dallas, Texas.
We are live in New York City.
Come on, this is carnage! It's not stopping! It's not stopping! Now we have a game. Ooh, get rocked. Maybe the Batman can do it. Oh, what is this?
Are you ready? The time has finally come.
We're back, Overwatch fans, and we are live from Dallas, Texas.
We are live in New York City.
Come
Come on, this is carnage!
It's not stopping! It's not stopping!
Now we have a game.
Ooh, get rocked. Maybe the Madman can do it. Oh, what is this? Are you ready?
The first two maps have been a clash of literal titans and gladiators in Dallas, Texas. Vancouver is looking to continue their successful run of their personal inaugural season last year. And I mean, so far it's an even-Steven match. Costa, you were actually the one predicting Gladiators to come out on top. And honestly, they've been looking really, really strong in that first map. What's going right for them?
I was really worried in the first round. It did not look close. That was a very one-sided round. I was like, well, this is going to be a rough one. This is an L. But they turned it around in the second, third rounds of the control point. They just looked a lot better. But this is a slugfest right now. They're going back and forth. Maywalls, the Reinhardts just running each other, trading massive shatters. Both teams are trading massive diva bombs. It's really hard to sort of dissect it because they're just running at each other right now.
It feels like in this match, more than the two prior, that there's a lot more playmaking going on. There's a lot of big ultimates, a lot of value getting thrown out, which makes for an entertaining series. So I'm all about it. Here we see the Nano Reaper coming in from Stitch, of course. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and you can't really tell what team has the upper hand so far.
Yeah, there's been a lot of back and forth. I mean, we saw Vancouver looking much more concise on Kings Row, able to come back, get that full push over to the end. We'd like to point out that any team that has picked up control in round one on the first map has not been able to close out the series, so trending upward right now for the Vancouver Titans.
Let's just get that out of the way. That is going to change the world.
There's empirical data behind this.
I'm glad that you're building all of this on actual stats. We have them for you. So, yeah, that's that. Now, it is once more time for Crunch Time, presented by Cheez-It Grooves. I know you like it, and we got it for you.
Here we go.
So, of course, the big question here is reinforced. Who did come up clutch in that first map, or the first two maps?
Well, so production made me pick out a clip, and of course, I can only do one thing with it. So, you know what it is. You know what clip I picked out.
No.
You're right. It's going to be not this one.
Not that.
Loved it.
But it's going to be.
That was actually also one of our favorites.
Okay, it's Johnny. Do you think he's choosing a TPS clip? We need a main tank clip.
No, that was just bait. That was just bait.
Here we go.
Here we go.
That looks like familiar territory.
I'm not going to pick a TPS clip. I'm not going to pick a Stitch clip. I'm going to pick a Reinhardt clip. So let's get it going. Let's see what actually happens when LH Cloudy gets substituted in and gets to land those big shatters. Because that's what we really like, okay? We don't care about main supports. They're useless.
I just want to
a little bit about
main. Can we point out
they're the
that
least valuable player on the team. We all care about the main tank. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's what we like to see. That's crunchy. Any crunchers in chat, dude? That's what we like to see. That's what Overwatch is about.
We're pushing it here a little bit, but you know I'm all right with it for now. Let's be real. Let's talk. It's true, yeah. But talk a little bit about Cloudy. Cloudy is their starting main tank. They did have options, but they went for Cloudy. Why is that? And I know you always believed in him. Costa seemed a bit more critical.
I had a lot of doubt. You know, you bring OG into this roster. I thought he was going to be the default main tank. But you know, he's been benched. We have Cloudy coming out, and he's actually been performing very well, going back and forth, punch to punch with Fisher. So he definitely struggled at times, but you know, you look at that shatter, he's making plays.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the other tank heroes, I definitely think that OG is probably the favored tank. But when it comes to the Reinhardt, I feel like Cloudy is like a mini Fraggy. So
okay.
I mean, it's true, right? He's from
that
Finland.
worked great for Fraggy.
Right? Well, okay, Fraggy did a lot of great things, okay? Overwatch history, we never forget, okay? History was captured, and Fraggy did a great job. So, Cloudy, for me, he's a bit of a mini Fraggy, he's up and coming, and I really like his Reinhardt. So, when it comes to the Reinhardt pick, I think that Cloudy over OG actually makes a lot of sense, and I can see why they put him in the roster. So, it's paying off so far, even though Vancouver Titans tied it up on Kings Row.
Well, guys, it's a map apiece, and I kind of want to know what you guys would do if you were coaches. So it's time for some backseat coaching. You ready for this? Okay, let's start with the Gladiators then, since you were heavily rooting for them.
Yeah, they're my team.
What do they have to do to come out on top of this?
I think at this point you got to reset. They obviously sort of coming back, but they just need to tighten it up at times. They're getting caught a little bit too much. Fish is getting too much space, and Stitch on the McCree is just free shooting pretty much this entire match. So if they can get him under control, I think that's what you can do.
Okay, reinforced. You know what's coming next? The Titans. They need your advice. What can they do to continue their success?
How do they beat Mini Fraggy?
Honestly, I think they did a great job shutting down the Reinhardt and King's Row. I actually liked the Brigitte pick coming out from Slime, and I also liked the Doomfist pick coming out. I think those heroes are very obnoxious to deal with, and I think it shuts down Cloudy pretty well. So I would say play more Doomfist. Not because he's only entertaining, but because it actually works. So give me some more Doomfist.
Okay, Leos, you're on board with this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that both of you guys offer up fairly sound advice, as you should, as professionals who have been coached in the past.
The mighty.
So being able to give some solid feedback here for the teams and for those players moving forward, it's good to see. I do agree with both of your points. I think that it's a bit of like a Babel situation that we saw during the London Spitfire game, where they just kind of had to have Hotba hound him down. I think that's the same situation that you're talking about for Stitch on that McCree. And if they can do that, then we could see some more success for the Gladiators.
All right, and that's it from our game break presented by Cheesy Cruise. Thank you guys so much for all the insight. And it is time to go back to the guys in Dallas. We'll see you afterwards for the Watch Point Reset. Later on, we have our final match of the day, so don't go anywhere.
That's right, everybody. Get your tickets right now for the Washington homestand that's taking place in week 3, I believe. We're going to be going there. So that should be all the reason you need to buy your tickets. Clearly, not for the for the teams and the players.
Yes.
Realistically speaking. The matches are going to be actually really, really good. So definitely, if you're in the Washington area or the surrounding areas and you haven't got your fill of Overwatch just yet, head on down there, buy your tickets, because it is going to be good.
Well, it's a brand new year, it's a brand new meta, and we've seen new faces already as well. Cloudy taking the stage instead of OG, who you would have expected to play for the Gladiators, and he's done a very good job so far at standing up to Fissure. They're tied currently, and it's been a very good showing from both of the main tanks.
Interesting as well. I mean, Cloudy, he didn't have the best performance last year, but this being said, you know, a new team environment does wonders, and I think the Gladiators has this support structure that's so good behind them, with DP as the head coach and the rest of the support staff surrounding them. They're very good at it. But now we've got a couple of substitutions coming in, and my word, some interesting and familiar faces as well. So-Min Soo is going to be making his move onto the stage, switching out for Stitch. But the interesting one that I am really curious about is this next one that's coming up, because it's none other than the legendary Ryu Hong. Kind of butchered that a little bit, but he's coming in for Twilight. This is incredibly interesting.
Yeah, I did not expect Ryu Hong to get a lot of playtime for the Vancouver Titans, because Twilight is so phenomenally talented. Ryu Hong, you could argue, is a slightly better Moira. We saw his play for Seoul in the playoffs last year, where he was able to play that hero to an incredibly high level. But the Ana, the Zen, those are the kind of heroes where you would expect Twilight. I wonder, Bren, is this Batiste as a flex support? Ryu Hong used to play DPS in the past a long time ago.
Long time.
So it's possible that his aiming skills are required here for a slightly new hero. We will just have to wait and see. Hanamura, the assault map coming up, they always have interesting strategies for assault maps on both attack and defense.
And Hanamura is legendary for this. We often see, you remember last year, Chengdu pulling out the Symmetra TP strat, catching, I think it was Atlanta off guard. You always see interesting things from Hanamura, and it's a personal favorite map of mine as well, out of the Assault collection, if you will. Sometimes you see a little bit of Genji, a little bit of Widowmaker. Who knows if we'll see that as of yet, but so far as it stands, it is 1-1 in this series. The Titans are going to be looking for every edge they can get. Maybe that's why they put in So-Min Soo and Ryu Hong.
Well, here we go. The Vancouver Titans are going to be the team to start out on offense. And they look like they're heading for something interesting already.
Wow.
We've seen in New York teams playing a little bit of dive, some Genji, some Sombra being played from New York themselves, actually. But Haxal on the Genji, that's what I like to see.
Oh man, I'm so happy right now.
Give me the Dragon Blade.
This is it, the Haxal Genji, legendary and official Winston. We get two
for the price of one.
It's iconic, it really is, and I hope we get to see some big plays coming out right now. But you see for now the Vancouver Titans just taking position onto the high ground. They've got the mobility, remember, when they're playing these heroes. Ryu Hong playing a very long off angle. Bionade comes out, not sure if it connected to too many people. Just trying to keep Fissure alive. Can't unfortunately do that, but the kills are happening in the backline as well. So-Min Soo is being a nuisance, a bit of a pest, as he picks off 1 or 2 players. Almost got a second one there from Ryu Hong's Bio Grenade, assisting him. Gonna have to Wraith Walk away just so that he stays alive. But for now, a free tick. I mean, you're not gonna argue with free progress right now, but the Vancouver Titans are just trying to build up these ultimates. They're gonna try and dive onto a target. They recognize that Cloudy was out of position. Birdring now trying to clutch it up. If he can get a kill onto Fissure, it'll be beautiful, but unfortunately taken down in the nick of time. And the Titans, this is a war of attrition that I didn't think they were gonna be winning, but it feels like they are.
I mean, they're getting picked slowly, but they're also having to retreat, give up space, because the Gladiators team comp can just run at them wherever they are. So apart from that 33% of progress that they managed to accrue that will always stay on the point, Vancouver haven't got much else. And the composition that they're using requires So-Min Soo to get into the backlines before everyone else. Haxal's just on his own here.
He's in danger right now.
Surely going to get frozen and killed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the peel was almost there from Jano. He tried to come in with the defense matrix. We see ultimates forced out by the Gladiators, though. That sound barrier being used is actually pretty huge right now for the Titans, because look at what ultimates they've got. This is going to be a reset. They're going to go back to spawn, but Haxal is sitting on that Dragon Blade, and Ryu Hong is sitting on that Nano Boost.
A huge amount of pressure applied there for the Vancouver Titans onto the Gladiators. They used their Immortality Field, and then Big Goose had to use his Sound Barrier as well. That means the only thing stopping Hacksal's Dragon Blade is the Immortality Field coming out from Shaz.
Although, here we go, show me the business. Axel's ready and waiting, the blade comes up, the Nano Boost lay it down, he collects one, he collects not quite two, but he finally finds it in the end, and that's good enough for me. Axel's back, 2 kills, he's gonna open this one up for the Titans, and they are eventually gonna be able to capture this first point.
Phenomenal stuff. You always love to see Hacksal back on his signature hero, and Big Goose is just wishing he had that Sound Barrier still available, but they had used it in the previous fight. Vancouver Titans did use both the support ults and the Dragon Blade, but they're still looking good for a fight here to go in, maybe force out the Blizzard, get a little bit of capture time progress. But they have to find targets and play the high ground. This isn't a composition they can just go toe-to-toe with the Gladiators with.
Well, Somitsu, the Death Blossom into the back line, bashed up. That was Big Goose switching over to the Brigitte. A critical change. Completely mitigated the ultimate, and now that might be an opening now for the Gladiators, but Fisher comes in with the Primal Rage. Leaps onto the point. See if he can get any value. He gets 2 kills. Meanwhile, on the point, the Titans are running this one all the way home.
Blizzard comes in, Jaro desperately trying to save him, but he's pulled it so far away from the point that it essentially gets no value. Didn't even separate anyone, and Hacksal's almost ready for another blade.
And I'm ready for it as well. Haxel, he's 3% away. The blade is waiting. Big Goose falls. All of his targets are down. He doesn't even need to use it. His team are cleaning up the targets regardless. And with the rest of the Titans, they're able to really secure some capture point. 33%. Just waiting. Ryu Jae-hyung holding on to the Nano Boost for now, biding his time, and now it's go time. 1slash comes out, Jaru falls, he finds a second one. Oh my word! Haxel, an absolute legend. 5 kills for him, with the assist from the legendary Ryu Jae-hyung as well. And the Vancouver Titans are gonna get the completion with 2 minutes 43 remaining.
What a god tier play coming out from Haxal. And who better to deliver the Nano Boost? The Ryu Jae-hyung goes over, thanks his support. That is so good.
I want to see it again. I want to see it again, man. This plays like this, we've been just void of any sort of Genji gameplay, it feels like, over the last year. It's been very rare, very sparse. But we've come in now and
it's like lifeblood to me, Bren.
It is. I mean, I feel like I'm back in 2017, but I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining in the slightest. And here's that replay that I was asking for. Haxel just pulling it out as well. As I said, supported. The Nano Boost came at the perfect time. He gets a slash to peel from Janu in the backline, and he collects them.
Absolute max range onto Birdring's Tracer there as well.
Yep.
Oh my word, the legends that we have in this match. Birdring going up against Fisher, his former teammate, going up against Ryu Jae-hyung and Haxal.
Wow, we'll see you on the other side of the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles Wavy. Big crunch, big flavor.
huge kill for the Philadelphia Fusion of everybody to go down. And Carpe with the headshot, Carpe with the follow-up, finally getting to show some skill here. That's what it's all about.
That's right, the Philadelphia Fusion are hosting the Battle of Brotherly Love next weekend. Tickets are going fast, and you do not want to miss your chance to see EQO, Carpe, and the rest of the Fusion up close in person next week. Buy your tickets now.
Yeah, that's going to be fantastic. I mean, if there's any other team that I think could pull off this ridiculous dive style, I guess it would be Philly.
It would be Philly.
Yeah, I love this, though. Double shield getting cracked by dive.
Get out of here.
I
don't want to see it anymore.
It's an omen for 2020, friend. That's
it's a good
what it
sign.
is.
It's a good sign.
It is.
I'll have it every day of the week, please. Every day of the week. Until Hero Pools rolls around, you know?
Yeah, and then we'll have it, every other week.
Every other week. No, it'll be sparsely, but we'll see now if the Gladiators can come back from that absolutely rapid offense from the Vancouver Titans. I say rapid, it took a bit of time to get the first point correct, but the second point was just opened up almost instantly.
Yeah, it really was. That push came through fantastically. They really set it up well. These players have a lot of experience with that style of Overwatch. And honestly, their offense on Kings Row was also really fantastic.
Yeah.
Really well executed.
Well, now it's time to see if the Gladiators have any tricks up their sleeve. Knowing the coaching staff of the Gladiators, I'm sure they've got a couple of set plays somewhere hidden. And I cannot think of a better map than Hanamura to really start to showcase them as well. I mean, I feel like they might be teasing us a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is a tease.
As they always do. As they always do.
But the Vancouver Titans are opting to run a bit more of a mobile defense. Instead of going for the Reinhardt and the Orisa, where you have to chase down the opposing team and try and fight them as quickly as you can, they've got the Diva to be a bit mobile, to shut down people that try and pick offensive angles for the Gladiators.
Yeah.
It's a bit more of a well-rounded comp.
Well, Gladiators are just going to peek their heads out. They're going to see what's being ran, and now they're going to make a change of their own. You can see them now making moves. Does Gyro want to stay? He does not.
But it seems like, okay, so they're making swaps back now as well. A little bit of communication issues maybe, a lack of decisiveness with what compositions they want to run. And Birdring goes back and swaps to Hanzo.
Interesting. Now, Hanzo was the favored sort of damage dealer that we heard early on, but that kind of fell to the wayside for McCree. A lot of people deciding to just play McCree. Obviously, the projectile change in speed has been affecting them quite a lot. There we have it. Look at that. Immediately, Janet just jumping onto the back line. The Titans able to pick up some early kills as well, early eliminations. Sominsu stuck in the ice wall. Get some salve out of there, thankfully. The Hellfire shotgun's good for that.
But there's already been a huge pick. Jaro managed to kill Haxel really early as they got in here. So if this fight had been a little cleaner, they might have been able to make use of that. But as it is, the fight took so long that the Titans are going to have Fissure and Haxel both back into this fight. I don't think the Birdring could get any value out of the Hanzo, though. Janu's Diva, and just Diva in general, has been buffed to a degree where it is the most mobile hero in the world.
Yep.
And so if you're trying to run a Widow or a Hanzo, you got to be scared of it.
Well, the Ice Wall is going to be blocking off the line of sight. Jayhawk forced to unload the Nano Boost now. We're going to see Fissure swinging into them. He has the Earth Shatter. He saw the shield crack. I know he wants to use it, but he's got to be kept alive by the rest of his team. And they have managed to catch Jaro out of position here. His eyes blocked. That is BM. I think he was anticipating the Ice Wall to come down, but Soundbar is going to be used by Gladiators as well. But, I mean, they get into the fight a little bit longer. Still could be anyone's game right now. Sominsudo, look at these shots.
Great
absolutely
flank.
Demolishing the Gladiators.
Really well-timed flank, and that is the second time in this match where Big Goose has been punished for trying to clutch by using his sound barrier when they are down people. It's great that you have that kind of confidence in your team, that you think you're able to win fights when you're down by investing ultimates. It's what the Vancouver Titans themselves used to do last year, and we praised them so much for it. But when it goes wrong, it goes quite disastrously wrong. Ult advantage all in favor of Vancouver.
Well, Fissure already just swinging away now. We can see Somitsu with their force up into the back line. Shaz just misses his sleep, doesn't connect it. It's going to be the one-for-one trade, though, as both teams are going to lose their Annas. Haxel being pressured, Janu's there, and now we see the Blizzard keeping them all locked up onto the point. The Self-Destruct from space is going to try and push them away from the point. but it's not good enough, unfortunately. Couldn't quite create the opening that they were looking for, and the Titans are still holding on to this first point.
Only 1 minute left for the Los Angeles Gladiators. They need to be able to crack point A. Point B, they can think about later. Who cares about that? Full complete in the map. This is their problem right now. How to crack point A with only really the Blizzard to work with. They need Birdring in a great position to flank, and they need to force the fight in an enclosed area so Jaru can get maximum value. If Janu eats this Blizzard, it's all over.
Jaru comes in, the Blizzard. Walled off though. Ice Wall, he tries to use it to get over it. He mistimed it. He's gonna be out of the fight, and Cloudy falls. You can't push with this anymore. The push is dead.
They reset, they have 30 seconds. Big Goose may get up to his sound barrier as well, but the Vancouver Titans have more opportunities to clutch. They've got the Nano Boost, they've got the Earth Shatter, they can still play very aggressive. And the Gladiators have to touch the point at some point.
Yeah, they have to push on, and Fisher has this Earth Shatter ready and waiting as well. Nano Boost. Rijie Hong just holding on, waiting for the right opportunity. The Ice Wall comes out. Fisher! Oh my God, the ingenuity from the man! It's like nothing I've ever seen. He just knows how to play Reinhardt to such a high degree. Comes round, sets it up, the 2 kills were all off the back of him. And now it's the overtime, Birds down. Gladiators, one last attempt to try and find their way onto the point. The Death Blossom from Birdring is not good enough. Space desperately tries to hold on to the overtime, but it's not going to be enough. And the Vancouver Titans are going to be taking map 3 in this series.
Huge plays by Vancouver. You basically knew it when they had set that lightning offense.
And now we'll see as we head into the next map. We've got more Overwatch coming up. Remember, first the 3 maps on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. Rank up with America's first and only nationwide 5G network.
Well, that was certainly a map, and now we're going to see if the Los Angeles Gladiators can take it back away from the Titans. Will we see 5 maps today? It's certainly looking like it, the way these teams have been playing.
It's been very close, honestly. The Gladiators have just fallen a little short of being able to defend these lightning-fast offenses coming out from the Titans. Just a slight step above here. And honestly, the Haxel Genji, that's the kind of weird pocket pick that can win you things when the meta is so new and teams don't quite know how to adapt. Gladiators are still a very new team. They don't have that pre-existing synergy.
Yeah, and I'm very much looking forward to it because I can see, we saw a bit of movement on the stage behind us with a couple of substitutions being made from the Gladiators side. And this screams to me as well that they've planned ahead for this. Particular maps, subbing in masses of people. Yeah. I mean, that just screams set play. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they might have to try and combat the kind of plays that the Titans are pulling out, because we weren't really expecting the Genji to be seen that much. But as you can see here, one of the first subs coming in is the one and only Mirror, coming in for Jaru, going to be playing on the damage-dealing role. And of course, the main tank as well is going to be changing out. OG comes in.
He's still a fan favorite.
Of course, and why wouldn't he be? Former Dallas Fuel member. He's not against the Dallas Fuel today, so, they can cheer for him.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to see what he can do. On the opposite side, you can see substitutions not quite being made. Too much Twilight coming back in here for Ryu Jae Hong.
That's to be expected, though. But it's all about OG, honestly. Look at how well this guy performed the last time he was playing in front of a Dallas crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, he's not playing for Dallas this time, but he's not playing against them either. This crowd's still very much on his side, and it all overwhelmed him last time. OG is a player that has had his highs, he's had his lows. It was a difficult journey for him to be able to get to this point. And now he's on a team with the Los Angeles Gladiators where his potential can finally be realized. You might see plays like that insane 180 Earthshatter coming out from him repeatedly. He's got a good breadth of heroes. And even if Cloudy is taking playtime away from him because Cloudy's Reinhardt is excellent, OG, I would say, is your pick for almost every other main tank. I would expect him to be a staple for the Gladiators.
That's almost what we assumed coming into this on paper. I always assumed that OG was going to be the primary main tank. But in this case, often when teams do this, when they sub in specific main tanks for specific maps, it means they have something in mind, whether it's set plays, or sometimes they're just still testing the waters and seeing which main tank they want to be running with for the majority of the season. We're still early on. We could have been seeing success. I mean, Cloudy had some very phenomenal plays.
He did.
But now I'm excited to see what has OG got for us. What is he going to be delivering on the Dallas stage once more?
And when you talk about OG, it's very emotion-driven play. If he feels confident, he's going to go for these big plays. He's going to make plays happen. He's going to try and form them out of nothing. That can often bite him as well. He can sometimes end up going for something and not succeeding and end up leaving his team in a poorer position. But with the coaching staff of the Gladiators and a strong team around him, I think OG should be aiming for more consistency this year.
Well, if you haven't been keeping up with the Overwatch League, how about a nice little montage of what the best moments of 2019 are? What's new in 2020? I apologize.
Oh, you baited me, Brad.
I did bait you. Sorry, Josh.
The third season of the Overwatch League is underway, so it's time to take a look at what's new in 2020. First off, the season is no longer divided into 4 stages, which means no more stage playoffs. Instead, we're introducing our own mid-season tournament, where 4 teams, the 2 conference leaders and 2 wildcard teams, will face off for over $1 million during All-Star Weekend. Additionally, to build up new and existing regional rivalries, the Atlantic and Pacific conferences are now broken down into 4 divisions: East and West in the Pacific, and North and South in the Atlantic. We've also moved to a first-to-3 map format, meaning once a team wins 3 maps, the match is over. To make sure all 20 teams get a fair share of map variety, we'll be rotating the map type order throughout the year as well. But the biggest change in 2020? We're hitting the road. We'll be traveling to teams' home cities throughout the entire season, bringing the Overwatch League right to your own backyard. So get ready, Overwatch League fans, because this season, we're coming home.
Well, there's that wonderful commentary from Jake Lyons, the newest member of the Overwatch League talent team. He's sitting back there somewhere, watching it all unfold. Wonderful stuff, actually, for his, I think, his first voiceover, presumably.
Well, he's getting ready to cast this Dallas versus Valiant game that's coming up afterwards, but we've got to conclude this series, and it is match point for the Vancouver Titans as they head into Dorado. You just heard it explained there. It's a first-to-3 format. So if the Gladiators aren't able to get the win here, or at the very least a draw, who knows how that would happen on Dorado, but it's technically possible.
It is technically possible, actually, yeah.
Well, they need to not lose on Dorado here because their match life is on the line. Nobody wants to start the season off with a loss, even if it's against the finalists from last year.
Absolutely, Josh, and you can already see them teasing a pick here or there. Dorado, some of the most famous Widowmaker plays and performances have occurred on this map. Takes it back right to the start of the game.
Also a very good map for being able to run Pharah. It's not something you see normally because it's fairly hard countered by D.Va with the new rocket booster changes, and also by McCree, who's a very strong hero at the moment.
Yep.
But Mirror at the moment looks like they maybe have a plan for how they want to play this one. And like you said, Brent, set plays. We're expecting something special for the Gladiators because all these new players came in.
It's going to be, it looks like to me, a forward attack or forward hold on the defense. See the hold comes out there from Fisher, doesn't connect onto anybody. Sominsu looking for a target. He's going to spot that they are running a fire. He's probably going to be calling that one now as well. The Widowmaker comes up for the grapple shot. Birdring just narrowly avoided the bullets.
Very dangerous risk to take for Birdring when he already knows that he's going to be aiming in that direction.
Yeah. And we see Sominsu actually making the swap now over to the Sombra. In fact, swaps almost across the board here. Fisher going to be running with the ball, and Haxel on the Genji once more. Now, look at the positioning being taken. Just trying to draw them back, surround and conquer. The Sun Tzu strategy, I think.
He's one of the coaches for the Vancouver Titans.
Could be, could be. Sominsu trying to get the hack off onto one of the targets. OG slept in the back line, but Mirror falls to Sominsu. Good opening. Haxel follows up as well into Birdring. The res comes up though, so they've only lost one player. Now it's going to be an even trade, so could be anyone's game as it stands. They're scattered to the wind, if you will. But the Titans look like they are coming out on top. It's a slow war of attrition, but they come out on top as they slowly push it in.
Yeah, Mirror really wasn't able to get that much done there. He would have loved to be able to shoot a bunch of tanks on the floor, but the Vancouver Titans swapped over to dive. And we are really seeing the Titans push forward this idea that dive is going to be viable in 2020, at least against certain compositions and on certain maps. Haxel 70% up to his blade at the moment. I need to see another one of these.
Yep, Haxel's blades have been something else. We'll see him just trying to farm it up. Sending in the Shurikens for now. You can see the high ground. Big Goose makes the swap over to the Brigitte as well to try and counter this. They've seen what happened in the last map. They want to try and avoid it if possible. The Sleep Dart is not going to connect now onto Birdring, who switched over to the Tracer, harassing the back line. Heals come out. Haxel's still staying alive. Bionade as well, going to be topping them all up. And now it's go time. The button might be pressed, but that pick onto Haxel is enormous. It's going to actually stop this push entirely from the Titans.
Yeah, it delays it even longer. I mean, Vancouver Titans have the time in their time bank anyway, over 4 minutes, so they're not that bothered about it, but it does allow the Gladiators time to reposition. OG has his Primal, which is another effective way of dealing with Haxel, if he can isolate him.
For now, this is what we were all waiting for. Twilight holding onto the Nano Boost. We're looking for the prime opportunity. Ult's going to start to get used here. Haxel used the blade in the background. And Twilight, he didn't have the line of sight. He couldn't use the Nano Boost onto him. Gladiators immediately jump on the opportunity. They go full aggressive. And they end up finding the picks necessary to once again stop this push. Now, I'm wondering, will Haxel actually end up swapping off this role? And yeah, indeed, he's going to be over to the Mei. Fisher as well with a change, playing a more standard composition.
And it's going to be really hard for the Gladiators to stop this, because the Vancouver Titans have got great point presence once they actually get around the payload. Sure, the Dragon Blade didn't work, and the Gladiators did a great job with their tank ultimates, but how do they approach this now?
Very difficult. You can see Mirror just on the high ground, laying in the shots, pumping in the damage. He has the Deadeye available to him. Sominsu gets the Nano Boost in the end, but gets absolutely no value out of it. It's going to be a one-for-one trade there. Birdring jumped into the back line, laid down the pulse bomb, did collect a kill, but traded it for his own life. The Gladiators are still in a very good position to try and hold this now. OGE absolutely demolishing onto the high ground.
They're slowly picking people off, but they still haven't been able to fight on the payload once. It has been free push for Vancouver as they've wiggled their way halfway through point B. and they've only expended a minute and a half here.
So interesting to see Haxel again switching over to the Genji once more. Nano boost though onto OG. They're gonna try and take an aggressive fight. Slapped up on the high ground though. Twilight has been massive with these sleeps, negating so many ultimates.
Another one as well, a Bionade onto Shaz to take out his counterpart. Sure, Haxel's died. Oh, but Mirror, nice work to also
huge clutch. 3 kills for Mirror. Lines them up, takes them down, and the Titans are forced to reevaluate how exactly they want to be pushing this one.
And the Gladiators composition, as strange as it looks, has been getting them results at the moment. I would like to see the Vancouver Titans stick to a very brawly composition. Get value out of your Lucio speed boost, force them to come down to you and try and pick off individual targets. But the last time they tried that, they just lost a couple of people here and there to Mirror's shots, to Birdring's harassment. So instead, they're putting their eggs in the Haxel Genji basket once again.
Oh, Space comes in with the self-destruct, tries to create a bit of space. You can see, look at the aggression! Bishop, he just charges straight into the post bomb, laid down like a nice little egg, a hen just trying to keep it warm, but not quite.
It's a tactical reset, Brad. We see them all.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that looked great.
Oh, wow. But Birdring is still staying on this Tracer pick as well. Yeah. And why not as well? I mean, Vancouver Titans are not really running anything to try and counteract it. You don't see the Brigitte, you don't see McCree.
I like the ball swap, though, for Fisher, because it allows them to stop Mirror staying on this high ground. They can go up there with both tanks, with Haxel, push everyone onto the low ground, and then get an opportunity to use this blade that's about to come up. They need to control the high ground, though. Otherwise, Mirror is just going to keep putting in damage and use this Deadeye from long distance, and it'll negate everything.
The Titans cannot have another blunder like the last time. Haxel, flashbang, stays alive now, the nano boost, and now the blade! He unleashes it! 1 kill goes his way, turns for the second one, he's going to collect it, and now goes straight for the Brigitte. It's a Chinmu play if I've ever seen one. And now wants to try and contest with the Diva. Space wants none of it. He's getting the heck out of there. Wonderful plays by Haxel, once again finding the value that he needed.
Yeah, they managed to take control of that top right-hand side. Big value blade. But the Gladiators are not giving this one up. OG comes back in, and he's managed to pair with Birdring to take down Haxel.
My!
The ball line has fallen!
Gladiators are doing it here. Big plays from Birdring and OG. Birdring lays down the post bomb. He won't find the target. Stays within the safety of the bubble, but it just collapses in the nick of time. Janu collects the kill. But as they all fall, it means the Titans are going to not cap this second point, and the Gladiators are going to hold them. Wonderful performance from them.
It seems perhaps that the Titans' strategy of throwing the Haxel Genji at everything has finally come to a brick wall. The Gladiators knew that if they just kept space and rotated around, that they would be able to handle it. And if you have to rely on Haxel getting 3 kills just to win a team fight, that's not an effective strategy.
No. And we saw, I mean, a little bit earlier in this series as well, the blade was a little bit whiffed. Haxel kind of using his ultimate. Twilight couldn't get the line of sight, couldn't get a nano boost onto him in the nick of time. We may have been seeing a different outcome than we are now, but we've got to give props to the Gladiators, capitalizing on the weaknesses, capitalizing on the mistakes of the Titans, and really hammering it home. And it's looking ever so more likely that we are going to be seeing this map 5 now.
I would love to see it, but the Gladiators weren't able to put together an offense on Hanamura, so they have to do better here on Dorado. I hope that they've got something interesting to show us on offense, because their strategy on defense of having Mirror on the Pharah, Birdring on the Widowmaker, and then OG on the Winston, it didn't work. But now that this team is on the defense, perhaps they can go for a bit more of a divey style. On the offense, perhaps they can go for a bit more of a divey style and really take advantage of Birdring's Tracer that we saw. OG's Winston. He's not going to be playing the Zarya.
No, he's definitely not. He's going to be switching over now to the Reinhardt as they come out. Vancouver Titans holding very close here. You often see this from teams. They try and basically avoid them from getting any sort of capture progress whatsoever.
I love this. I think it's a great strat from the Titans.
I love fighting early here. Can often maximize the amount of team fights they're able to get before this first point. And you can see switches being made all over the place. Mirror just scouted a little bit with the Sombra. He went back. Now he's going to be playing the Doomfist.
Gives them opportunities to find picks. Just and a little bit at random while they happen to be in the middle of a brawl. And if he finds a pick, the spawn advantage so much in their favor. He can afford to go for plays like that, though. Not too much of a mistake. They can keep coming out here and keep putting Mirror in position.
Nice little sleep dart there from Shaz. Nothing to capitalize onto Somin Sudo, but you got to remember, as you said, Josh, Gladiators, they have this spawn advantage. They can afford to make these risky plays. But right now, the Titans are absolutely straining. The Birdring, though, answers back. Now we see the Nano Boost builds up so fast. OG just charges into the back line. He's immediately frozen up, but he does finally collect a kill. Gets one of the Twilight, at least. So at least he got a little bit of value out of the Nano Boost. Haxel just trying to run his way out of there, realizes it's a fool's errand. Comes back to reset with the rest of his team, and Gladiators are able to push this, hopefully through this archway, which can often be a bit of a tricky point to push through.
A bit messy there from the Titans. They didn't quite know how to deal with Mirror. Half of their team backing off, half of their team trying to take an early fight. Ends up with the loss of Fissure. But they can go for another fight here, and they've got the Coalescence, but the Gladiators are stacked full of ults that are about to come online. Particularly this Space Bomb can make it a lot of space.
On the precipice of it right now, Space has the self-destruct. The Coalescence comes out from the Titans, trying to hose them down. Fissure collects the kill into Shaz. No more healing right now, and that is exactly what the Titans wanted. Take away one of the main healers, suddenly the rest of the team will crumble around it.
Yeah, really nice aggressive play there to be able to pick off Shaz early on in the fight. And their composition for the Vancouver Titans just revolves around being able to hold choke points, go in, isolate people with that Mei wall, which is not something that the Gladiators can do. The Gladiators are relying on picks from Mirror, or at least harassment from Mirror to be able to draw eyes and attention away. Ideally, though, they would love to be in a 6v5 situation if Mirror can find a pick.
Birdring is looking for opportunities to flank into the back line, but I'm looking at Fissure right now. He's got the Earth Shatter. He's going to be hunting for opportunities. You can see the seismic slam there onto the flag. Oh! OG hits a huge shatter. Death Blossom into the backline by Somin Sudo. Birdring answers back. 4 kills, and Space eating the Blizzard as well. Absolutely wonderful from the Gladiators, and they crash through the first point.
That went as perfectly as you could possibly ask for. Let's take another look at this. Birdring with a beautiful timing just after the shatter goes down and manages to avoid one. Oh, the eat on the Blizzard as well. But Birdring's already done the damage. Nano boost to Death Blossom. Oh,
pure.
So perfect.
Pure excellence. And the Gladiators, we said there was a lot of mechanical talent on this team. They're showing it right now. Earthshatter comes down here for Fissure. Doesn't find any targets. Bigger's going to be answering with the Soundbire. Now Haxel trying to make some plays happen. OG goes for the Miracle Charge and ends up collecting a kill onto Slime, but it's not quite good enough. The Titans, they have the damage advantage here. They're able to find the kills necessary to win out this team fight once more. But remember, the Gladiators, they don't have to win that many team fights before they end up taking this to map 5.
That's true, but they're not going to get that free push that the Vancouver Titans got. Both of these teams now have compositions where they're going to take team fights instead of flanking around and trying to pick off targets. So this is going to come down to who wins a big, decisive team fight.
Self-destruct by Janu. Hunting for opportunities, trying to create space. And the Titans, they try to play aggressive off the back of it. They couldn't find anything. Haxel gets counterpunched, but immediately is going to be using the Meteor Strike just to get his way out of there. OG being pressured heavily, but thankfully the peel is there. And Fissure lays down the Earth Shatter, but he doesn't get anything. And now OG, he's free to try and take this one for his own. Look at the kills flowing into the backline now. Mirror just absolutely pounding in the damage. And they still have ultimates to work with. This is almost best case scenario. Maybe I spoke too soon though. Somin Sudo, a desperation play, and OG decides it's time to sort of use that trump card in the back pocket. Clean up this fight. It was getting a little bit too messy after Somin Sudo got those 2 kills.
Certainly was. You would expect the Vancouver Titans to be right in their comfort zone. They made it to the 2019 Grand Finals playing Reaper Doomfist. Yes, the tank line, support line, slightly different, but this should be comfort territory for Somin Sudo and Haxel. At the moment, though, they need to win the next team fight, and the ults are just stacked up against them. Mirror, though!
Oh my word, what a critical pick! The Titans, they had nothing to work with. They needed a pick-off, and they found it in the form of Mirror. Birdring's going to try and answer back in the back line, but his Death Blossom gets absolutely no value. Now to Nano Boost, OG desperately swinging away, trying to build up the ultimates, and he's going to almost get the Earth Shatter. 90% and counting, collecting 1 kill. A very good scenario for the Gladiators, but it almost went a little bit skew-whipped.
Yeah, it was Haxal and Mirror managed to counterpunch each other, and then Mirror died, but the Vancouver Titans overcommitted. Have they really given away their opportunity to win this map, to defend?
And they're forced to touch, they're forced to go in. The punch, the media strike, lay it down with the Earth Shatter! Oh my word! OG lays it down for Mirror to claim the glory, and that should be that. A last-ditch self-destruct from Janu over the top to try and make it work. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. You can see Gladiators, they're all over them. Somitsu so low. Desperately trying to stay onto the point. Titans turning us around. Remember, they have the spawn advantage. This could be their match.
They're coming back in, and Haxal's got the Meteor Strike. Both DPS ults online. If they can stabilize and find a couple of picks, still very winnable for both teams.
Haxal from on high. Goes for the punch. Is going to miss. Seismic Slam. Somitsu gets nothing out of the Death Blossom. Big news, Gladiators. They use their Sapphire in response. Birdring to clutch. And we are going to be going to a map 5. Oh my word. Unbelievable scenes from the Los Angeles Gladiators.
Well, the Vancouver Titans made them work for it there, but the Gladiators have what it takes with their new players substituted in, and OG wins his map in the Dallas crowd.
What a phenomenal series so far. And we've got more Overwatch Map 5 coming up after the break. Well, welcome back to Map 5 in a phenomenal series so far between the Los Angeles Gladiators and the Vancouver Titans. What a way to start this so far in Dallas, right? I mean, just a phenomenal match to kick things off. And I have a feeling probably all of the matches so far over to Dallas's homestand, they might be going the way of this as well.
Yeah, I really think so.
Teams are evenly matched.
They're very evenly matched. It's a brand new meta, so things can get teams taken off guard. And also, with the Valiant improving and Dallas still looking all right, this homestand is shaping up to be excellent.
Yeah.
And this first match has absolutely delivered. We've got to see different team styles. We've got to see different substitutions. We've got to see all sorts of different people getting played. And now Jaru coming back in for Mirror.
Yep.
They've made a couple of substitutions here as well. They've, unfortunately for the Dallas crowd, have decided to sub out OG, but that's fine because LH Cloudy has been performing fantastically so far this match.
Yep.
And OG got to come in and preserve his 100% win rate on maps. On matches. I mean, on appearances, should we say, in front of the Dallas crowd.
There you go. Yeah. We see a couple of switches as well. I mean, the Titans are going to be going ahead. No subs for the Titans. It's going to be sticking with what they know. But so far, we're going to be moving back over to the control maps in the map 5. This series will be ending no matter what on the next map.
Yep.
It cannot go any further. But it's these kind of scenarios that the Titans were forged in.
Yep.
In the map 5s, to the very brink, when the going gets rough, I cannot think of a better clutch team than the Titans.
I mean, you would definitely say the San Francisco Shock,
maybe,
of course.
Maybe.
Of course, they're outstandingly clutch. That's the reason why they are defending champions in 2019.
Sure.
But the Vancouver Titans are so good. They've got to be favored in these kind of scenarios. And so it's on these Gladiator players that have been subbed back in for Lijiang Tower to really bring something special, especially because their strategies didn't work out quite so well at the beginning of Nepal.
Definitely did work out, though, on Dorado, to a degree. The substitutions worked for the Gladiators.
Yep, the coaching staff coming out with these changes definitely paid dividends for them.
And now we see the map. The next map is going to be Lijiang Tower, of course, control. This series will be ending on the next one, no matter what. And I cannot wait. Lijiang, you see a lot of interesting stuff. It's a lot of potential for environmental kills. Sometimes you see Doomfist come out to play.
We've seen Symmetra be played earlier with Orisa Reinhardt kind of metas. It seems like both of these teams are favoring Reinhardt paired with the Diva, which is what we currently see them on. But there is definitely opportunity for them to swap over to Rhino-Orisa compositions.
Well, now as the players get ready, do or die right now for both these teams. It's match point. Gladiators versus the Vancouver Titans. The compositions they're running, Sominsu may stay on the sim, may just be getting them a bit of a faster roller. Yes, indeed he is. So it's actually going to be the May McCree versus the Reaper May.
And I actually favor the McCree in this matchup as long as Birdring can hit his shots. It's great burst damage. The flashbang has got great potential as well, but we'll see how it ends up working out.
Birdring, poking, prodding, trying to take a couple of those shots. You see the Immortality Field went down instantly. That's an important cooldown. You can see the peel as well. Look at the backline. They're trying to bring down Birdring, but unfortunately not enough damage is there to try and do it. Now Sominsu is putting in a bit of work, but now he's trapped behind enemy lines, and he is going to be brought down in the end.
What? This is crazy. It's a May and a Lucio versus a May and a Lucio on the point for the final one. These teams could not be more evenly matched.
Axel will fall in the end, though. The Gladiators had a slight advantage as Space came in back into the fight a little bit faster. The Titans, I don't think they're going to choose to recontest this. They've lost 2 members. But it will mean the Gladiators open up here on our final map by capping the point.
That was so close between both of those teams, and I want to give so much credit to Big Goose and Shaz, particularly Big Goose, who stayed alive there all the way to the end, continued to have great impact throughout that fight. That's the reason that they were kept on with the Gladiators.
Well, now we see the Deadeye. Any value to be made? Not quite. It just forces the positioning, and sometimes that's all you need. Sominsu sleeping on the job a little bit here. Shaz hitting a nice little sleep dart. Now we see the Nano lay down onto Cloudy. He's unable to get any value though. He's taking a little bit too much damage. Just peeling them back, and that's going to give the Vancouver Titans a bit of space, a bit of room to breathe. Now we see the soundbar being used, and they absolutely split up Fisher away from the rest of his team. Slime caught out as well. This is going to be another one fight for the Los Angeles Gladiators.
A really nice play, especially by Jaru. The positioning on that Blizzard was perfect to be able to drive a wedge through the Vancouver Titans and pick them off. And the Vancouver Titans, you know, they theoretically should have a bit of an advantage with the Immortality Field if Shaz doesn't get value out of his Nano. But we haven't seen it.
Trading self-destructs, no value, but that's going to set up now this Blizzard. And it does connect onto Cloudy, but look at that. The defense matrix from space was almost enough to keep him alive, but he was just caught and frozen up. Sominsu in a bit of danger, but able to, with the rest of his, and the help of his team, win out that 1v1. Not really a 1v1 when you got the Diva's defense matrix, let's be honest. But the Titans are able to recapture this point in the end.
Expected with the use of the Blizzard. It's such an enormous pivotal ultimate that can guarantee you a team fight as long as it isn't consumed by the opposing D.Va. But Space didn't quite manage to get it that time. And now the Titans are in control of the point, which is where we've seen them at their most effective.
You can see Somitsu waiting silently,
looking for that flank.
He's looking for the flank right now. Bit of information going to be gathered now. The positioning of Vancouver Titans is very split right now, but you've got the Reaper on the left side. He can instantly regroup with the rest of his team with the teleport. Now we see a bit of an initiation being made. The Deadeye by Burn Ring collects 1 kill, collects 2, looking for the 3rd, but Big Goose will steal it away from him. And this is a great opening for the Los Angeles Gladiators.
The Titans just played a little too passive there. They weren't able to get aggressive in the face of the Gladiators, instead trying to get value out of their Amp Matrix. And it was too little too late. Somitsu just did never find that flank. And Jaru and Haxal both coming up to their Blizzards. This would normally favor the team that's in control of the point of the area, because they can just block off that choke point.
Whoa, another great Ice Wall from Jaru. Fisher completely caught out. The rest of his team trying to follow suit. But look at this, the Titans are answering back. The Immortality Field kept them alive, and it's long enough for Cloudy to go down. Had to commit a couple of ultimates, but now we see Jaru, last-ditch Blizzard on the point, thrown it out. But it's not going to be good enough. And that was a lot of the ultimates being expended there by the Gladiators without too much gain.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of an overextension by Cloudy. He saw an opportunity with the Maywall to try and secure a pick, but instead he split his own team by going too aggressive. Took a very long approach with the Gladiators instead of staying tightly balled up together. And Twilight's Immortality Field found a lot of value. Haxal's Blizzard here should be almost a guaranteed fight win.
All eyes on it. Can Space eat it? That's the question. South Destruct comes up, and that's cue for Axel to use the Blizzard. He knows it's not going to be 8. Picks up 1 kill onto Cloudy. The Amber Formation Matrix from Twilight does a lot of work as well in the back lines. And I think the Gladiators, they had to back off because it's only 5% remaining until this round goes one way or the other.
This Nano Boost is going to have to be used by Shaz just to contest the point and wait for Cloudy to get back in the fight.
Whoa! Fisher comes around the corner with the Earth Shatter. No real kills being claimed from it, but it's going to be the 1-to-1 trade. Immortality Field taken out. Gladiators hunting for opportunities now. Space's teammates. Big Goose just trying to stay alive. Peeling for the backline now, but Janu is all over them. Ends up using his own self-destruct. Finds Shaz in the process. And Titans, it looks like this is their point to claim. The Ice Wall is a last-ditch effort to try and stall it up. But the Vancouver Titans are going to be leading in this final map 1-0.
The Gladiators just making a crucial error when they were in control of the point, flipped over to the Titans, and they will capitalize on any weakness you give them. They go 1-0 in this pivotal map 5. The Gladiators have to be playing their peak game. They can't afford to be making those plays, those overextensions coming out from Cloudy. He was playing very tight with his team and getting off a lot of clutch Earth Shadows early on in the series. He's got to hit that kind of level to be able to go up against Fissure and to go up against the whole of the Titans. They're a very decisive team.
Vancouver Titans, I do find it interesting. They are 1 round up when it was the Gladiators who ended up initially capping the first point. It's quite rare for a team to be able to do that, but now we see the teams rolling out once more, taking opposite sides. They're going to clash on the point. It's an eventuality. Ice Wall going to be used here by Jaru to try and split up some of the members of the Titans. No luck though thus far. A lot of healing being pumped out here by Twilight, and it's enough. Somitsu just laying in the damage. Fissure with the Fire Strike. The Titans are going to be able to claim this first point.
Really good Ice Wall by Haxal. Managed to find Cloudy and isolate him. It wasn't Cloudy's fault, but because Jaru had used his Ice Wall really early in the fight and found no value, there was just no way for Cloudy to escape. The Titans playing patient, not rushing things, and eventually Haxal finds them an opportunity. Now they're in control again. This is so important on these maps. It's much harder to push in than it is to defend.
Twilight very close to the amplification matrix as well. The window, as the pro players call it, but doesn't even need it. The Immortality Field will lay down. Amp matrix as well. The choke point, it's the firing range. They're all going to be falling right now, particularly Space and Shaz as they take a quick little dip.
And the unfortunate thing here for the Gladiators is that because they lost these last two fights quite decisively, Jaru is pretty far behind Haxal in his ult, Cloudy is pretty far behind Fissure, Big Goose is pretty far behind Slime. This is that snowball that occurs on these control maps. Yeah. The Titans can win here with a Blizzard in a choke point. Oh, but this is a nice rotation. Good use of the speed boost by Big Goose.
Fissure has to use his charge to catch up. Tries to basically put himself in between them. He has the Earth Shatter. His team needs to keep him alive, though. Fissure's been so instinctual. The 180 doesn't connect. Great block comes out from Cloudy, but now the Blizzard gets a lot of value. Coming out into the backline, Sominsu! 3 kills with the Death Blossom. And now, it is danger time for Los Angeles Gladiators.
Yeah, Sominsu just finding the perfect flank there. His team was forced to use the sound barrier to get him into position, but he comes up with the goods. Beautifully timed, just at the edge of the Blizzard, exactly where he knows where they're gonna be. Slime, great timing with his sound barrier, and the Vancouver Titans remain in control. Final fight.
Potentially the final fight right now. The Titans could claim this series here and now. The ice wall keeps them off. Someone managed to touch space, forced to just commit and use his body, but now look at Burning into the back line. He gets nothing from his Death Blossom. The Immortality Field was there. Janu using the self-destruct, just trying to create a bit of space. The ultimates are being traded left, right, and center. Overtime ticking. Sominsu picking up Big Goose. It's so big, and the Gladiators, they're falling one after the other. The overtime comes down, and the Vancouver Titans are gonna clinch the series out. We almost went the full distance. In some ways, we really did. But my word, what a series for the Titans, and they're still showcasing they've got what it takes.
They certainly are. This team is back with a vengeance, showing new things, showing old faces, and they managed to secure that final map in a fairly dominant fashion. Fissure with a great Earth Shatter towards the end there, manages to knock down Jaru and Big Goose. They get cleaned up. They're fantastic. This entire team is stacked from head to toe. The question marks around the Vancouver Titans are never to do with the quality of their players, with the quality of their play, especially early on in the season. This is a star-studded roster.
Yeah, and I have to say as well, I think obviously the Gladiators are going to be disappointed with the result, but the fact that they went toe-to-toe with the Vancouver Titans, arguably mechanically upgraded with Fissure being added, with Jae-Hong being added, and here we have it. I mean, this is your Coca-Cola victory moment. The Vancouver Titans just going to be packing up the peripherals. You know, you got to keep them clean, squeaky for the next match.
Yeah, they're going to be looking forward to that. I mean, they play against the Valiant tomorrow, so tough matches all over the place.
Well, we have a lovely little interview with Jake down on the floor. What have you got for us, Jake?
Thanks, Josh. I'm here with Twilight. Congrats on the win, Twilight. I love watching your Ana. Every time I see it, it just gives me chills.
트와일라이트 선수 일단 승리 정말 축하드리고 특히 트와일라이트 선수의 아나를 정말 감격 있게 봤습니다.
I wanted to ask, you've added 2 veterans to your roster this season. Specifically, you've called Ryu Jae-Hong your idol. What does it mean to call him your teammate now?
이번 시즌에 밴쿠버는 2명의 정말 노련한 선수를 영입했는데 그 중에 트와일라이트 선수가 개인적으로 우상이라 말했던 류재 선수가 들어왔는데 류재 선수와 같이 하니까 좀 어떠나요?
일단 재용 형이 많이 경험도 많고 그런 모든 면이 다 저희보다 경험이 너무 많아서 모든 부분이 좀 저희한테는 좋았어요. 그러니까 말을 잘 못하겠는데 일단 모든 부분이 일단 재용 형이 들어옴으로써 더 많이 좋아진 것 같아요.
Ryujin is definitely a veteran. He's a very good player, and he has a lot of experience. So everything about him when he joined the team, it was better.
That's great to hear. I also wanted to ask, with such an impressive performance last season, how does it feel to have the pressure to repeat that again in 2020?
저번 시즌에 밴쿠버 팀이 정말 엄청 좋은 성적과 좋았는데 이번 시즌 들어오면서 작년 시즌에 대해 비교했을 때 부담이 가는 게 있나요?
딱히 부담은 없고 그냥 저희가 제일 잘한다는 생각으로 열심히 하고 있습니다.
There's no pressure because we believe you're the best team, so no pressure.
Well, thank you so much. Back to you.